Hello again. Tonight we will move slowly with a small land snail along the edge where garden meets woods. This is a real night, told gently, with true behaviors and soft, damp ambience. If your eyes grow heavy, let the story keep gliding at snail speed while you rest. Dusk gathers, a cool sheen on leaves. Our snail wakes under the arch of an ivy leaf, sealed there since the day grew hot and dry. A thin film of dried mucus has glued shell to shelter, keeping water in and heat out. Now rising humidity loosens the seal. Moist air seeps under the lip of the shell. The body swells slightly with water and pushes gently. The shell sighs free from the leaf. 4 tentacles unfold. The longer pair stretch upward, tiny eyes at their tips, sampling light and dark. The shorter pair sweep the air close to the mouth, tasting scent and texture. A small opening on the right side of the body, the breathing pore, the pneumostome, blinks open, then closed. Lungs are simple, but they work quietly, trading night air for what the body needs. The first step is not really a step. The snail's whole foot ripples in slow waves, muscles contracting from back to front. Mucus flows from glands in the foot and turns rough bark into a smooth, glistening path. A silver trail begins, writing the night's first sentence. The garden is different after sun. Leaves still carry the memory of heat, but their surfaces cool fast under open sky. The soil between stones holds pockets of moisture where roots breathe. Our snail follows the darker line of damp earth, where the risk of drying out is lower and food is richer. On a lettuce leaf, tiny circular scars from last night's meal form a soft constellation. The snail's mouth is not a beak or a jaw, but a rasp called a radula. Hundreds of microscopic teeth arranged on a flexible ribbon. Pressed against the leaf, it scrapes in steady strokes. Leaf tissue becomes green paste, then quiet energy. The pattern is neat. Eat a patch, move a little, eat again. From under a pot, another snail's dried trail crosses this one. The fresh traveler pauses and tastes it with the lower tentacles. Chemical traces carry news. Who passed roughly when, whether the route once led to food or to nothing. Tonight, the message is faint and old. Our snail chooses a slightly different arc. Night deepens. Moisture climbs. The snail crosses a stone still holding a little warmth from the day. The foot thickens its layer of slime to prevent water loss on the dry patch. Mucus is more than a path. It is armor against friction and dehydration. A small obstacle appears, a twig fallen since yesterday. The snail explores it with tentacles, then flows up and over, shell following like a slow, careful moon. Gravity is handled by adhesion and patience. Far away, a thrush taps a snail shell against stone, using an anvil to reach the soft body inside. Our snail responds only with extra caution. It chooses cover, under foliage, beside walls, behind stems, places where beaks have to work harder. In the vegetable bed, scent changes. Crushed tomato leaf, wet soil, a faint tang of minerals where lime was once scattered. Salt and certain minerals can draw water from a snail's body dangerously fast. The foot hesitates at a dry, grainy edge. Tentacles lower and test. The snail shifts course, tracing a safer route along the base of the bed, where soil stays dark and soft. A pill bug rolls by, armored and busy with its own work of cleaning fallen matter. The snail simply flows past, bodies touching for a moment like two raindrops on glass. High above, a moth thuds gently against a window. Glass reflects the garden back on itself. The snail sees none of this, but its world is rich with gradients of damp and dry, smooth and rough, safe and sharp. Sometime after midnight, a light rain arrives. Drops ring off leaves and soak into the soil. For a snail, this is more than weather. It is opportunity. The body stretches taller, testing the falling water. Dirt rinses from the shell in faint streams. The pneumostome opens longer, breathing in the cool, rich air. On a damp stone, the snail pauses and drinks from a shallow film. The mouth touches the surface. The foot pulls water up along its own tissues. Hydrated, the animal can travel farther without risk. Now the radula scrapes at soft algae that grew on the stone in earlier days. Rough texture smooths under the tiny teeth. A micro-landscape is remade. Grit into food, bump into glide. Under a low shrub, another snail is encountered, shell spiraling the other way. Land snails are often hermaphrodites, carrying both sets of reproductive organs. When the season and moisture are right, two individuals can exchange packets of sperm and both later lay eggs in the soil. Tonight, it is not that season. They circle once, tentacles touching in a slow greeting. Then each returns to separate errands, leaving overlapping trails that shine side by side. The garden is quieter now. Most diurnal animals sleep. Noisy leaves have turned to whispering silhouettes. Our snail uses this cool, dark window to forage steadily, building a small store of energy that must last through many resting hours later. Closer to the forest edge, the ground changes. Leaf litter lies thick, padded with older seasons. Here, fungi thread the soil and break down wood. The snail rasps at a soft patch of decaying leaf, rich in microbes and loosened plant cells. The radula's teeth wear down constantly, but are replaced from behind, like a conveyor of new tools. A tiny slug shares the banquet. Bodies brush. Nobody hurries. In the slow economy of decomposers, there is usually room. After feeding, the snail rests against a piece of buried bark. The shell presses gently into the curve. The body retracts part way. The pneumostome opens wide, then narrows again, adjusting the pace of breath to the cool, stable air. Far overhead, clouds thin. Stars appear in puddles as scattered pinpricks. The snail begins the slow work of returning toward its original shelter. It does not navigate by landmarks the way birds do. Instead, it follows gradients of humidity, of familiar chemical traces, of slope and soil. Older trails, still faintly moist, can be recognized and reused. A stone path must be crossed again. The snail thickens its mucus, builds a little cushion, and glides over. Behind it, the silver track catches a glimpse of starlight and then dulls as it dries. In very hot seasons, a snail might climb and seal itself to a wall or stem, forming a thicker barrier and sleeping through days or weeks of drought. This is called estivation, summer's version of hibernation. Tonight conditions are mild, so no long sleep is needed, only the usual retreat. A faint pale smear appears in the east. Birdsong begins. First one note, then many. For a small, soft body without speed or shell-cracking defenses, daylight brings greater risk. The snail feels the air lighten. The eye tentacles sense the slow increase in gloom to glow. It is time to close the circle. The snail climbs the ivy stem, following its own earlier trail, now just damp enough to read. A suitable leaf is chosen on the shaded side. The foot presses into it and mucus flows. Gradually, a sealing film forms between sole and leaf, a thin door against the day. The body withdraws deeper into the shell. Tentacles fold. The pneumostome opens once, twice, then closes to the smallest slit. Inside, moisture is kept close. Outside, the world brightens toward morning. Sun on stone, heat on paths, feet in wheels and shadows. All of that passes just a shell's thickness away. The snail waits, heart slow, body quiet, trusting mucus and calcium and habit to hold it safe. If you are still with us, let your breath match the snail's pace. Gentle in, gentle out. If you have drifted, the ivy will keep watch. Thank you for spending the night with a snail on the garden edge. Rest well. When evening returns, the seal will soften, the trail will shine again, and the slow journey will begin once more.